So today guys, let's talk about food. So a lot of you will know that I do tend to talk about my grocery bills and my food budget and really talk about, you know, how much I'm budgeting for the week or for the month. And I've even done a couple of food challenge videos really because you guys wanted it and I just wanted to see how I would perform. So in this video, I really want to talk about some of the hacks I've been able to use to really just stick to my food budget and essentially give my best saving tips when it comes to buying groceries. So the first tip I want to give is that whenever I go grocery shopping, prior to that, I will always write a list and I will usually just do it on my phone. Now the reason why I do this is because I do not want to go to the grocery store and end up just buying every single item because I have no idea what I'm going to be making for the week or for the month. Because what you might find is that if you end up going to the grocery store and you haven't actually written a list or planned anything in advance, then you might just end up buying a whole load of different items, not realizing what you're actually going to be making for the week, and you may even end up going back to the store maybe after a few days because you realize actually maybe you want to make some type of meal and you hadn't actually bought an ingredient for it because you hadn't planned in advance and made yourself a list. So that's definitely something that has been an absolute game changer for me. So every single time before I go shopping, I know exactly what I want to buy. And yes, there may be a couple of things that I may miss out on the list, but I know that actually the majority of items that are on the list I'm going to buy. And if there's maybe one or two items that I've just forgotten about putting on the list, or maybe I just feel like actually it might be nice to have, then of course I will add that. But most of the times I will genuinely stick to that list. And the second tip I would give is pretty much linked to the first one, but it's actually planning your meals for the week. Now again, the reason why I do that is because not only is it quite efficient for me because it means that I don't have to be cooking every single day, because I'm not gonna lie guys, sometimes I just really don't have time to be doing that, but it just helps me to understand how much things are likely to cost because I've already planned for those meals, and then I can just take that list to the grocery store and then I can actually purchase the items that I need to be able to make those meals. So as an example, typically in my household we will have around 3 to 4 different meals every single week, and we will also have a separate meal for lunch as well, just because of the way my husband likes to eat food. So essentially what I would be doing is just planning for those individual meals of the week. So for example, meal 1 we might have on Monday and Wednesday, meal 2 we might have on Tuesday and Thursday, and then meal 3 we might have on Friday and Sunday, and usually Saturday maybe we'll have a takeaway or we'll just eat something random, or we might go out. So for this week I had already pre-planned our meals. So one of the meals we had fried rice. I would actually show you guys, but that is finished already. The second meal I'm planning to make is actually fish fillets and a bit of sweet potato and vegetables. So I've got my sweet potato here, and then the third meal I'm going to be making is with tagliatelle. So this is it, and I got it from Aldi. Then I've got some coconut milk, chorizo, double cream, some mixed vegetables, peppers, and I've also got cheese as well. So that is definitely going to be meal 3. And then for lunch I tend to have eggs and avocado with bread, so it's pretty simple for me. But my husband, I've actually made him some pasta that he can have for lunch. So in terms of the pasta, I basically batched this, and he's got a whole bowl of pasta to last him the week. And if he gets bored of the pasta for lunch, then we've got wraps as well. Now please remember, I'm a personal finance channel, okay? I am not a cooking channel, but what I'm essentially saying is that if you're able to plan your meals, you're more likely to actually save money because you will know exactly what you need when it comes to your shopping. So really just planning out your meals could save a lot of time, but it also can save costs as well. And the reason why I say that is because again, you will not be going to the store trying to buy every single item because you don't really know what you're going to be eating. If you've actually planned out your meals, then you know exactly what you need to buy, and so you're less likely to end up overspending because you've bought all these random different items which you realize that you probably don't need by the time you get home. So the third tip I want to give in terms of saving money when it comes to grocery shopping is to really think about the supermarkets you're buying your groceries from. Now the reason why I say this guys is because you will be surprised at the amount of saving you can make just because of the store you choose to actually buy your groceries. So for example, in my case, I'm based in the UK, and for us, cheaper stores are likely to be stores such as Lidl and Aldi compared to maybe a supermarket like Tesco or Waitrose. And the reason why that's so important guys is because when it comes to different items that you're buying, when it comes to your grocery bills, they are more likely to add up depending on the supermarket that you go to. So for example, when I go to Lidl and Aldi, I could probably get by on £16 a week, which is something that I've definitely done, and I do have a video that talks about that in a bit more detail as well, so definitely check that out if you haven't already. I will of course link that up here for you and in the description below. So if I had maybe only £15 or $20 to spend every single week on food, I'm more likely to get more bang for my buck if I was to shop at a store like Lidl and Aldi because they are fairly cheap compared to if I went to somewhere a bit more expensive like either Waitrose or even maybe Tesco as well. Obviously not including things like Tesco Basics, but you get my gist here. Now obviously everyone is going to have their different preferences in terms of the supermarkets that they go to, but what I would challenge you is to really think about the stores that you're going to and just really question whether that supermarket is really providing the value that you want, or if you were to go to maybe a cheaper store that maybe had similar quality quality, is that likely to make a difference as well? Because what you might find is that even though there are cheaper stores like Lidl and Aldi, that doesn't necessarily mean that they do not sell quality food. So again, I'm not telling you that you should just drop everything and start shopping at the cheapest store possible, but what you might want to think about is, are there maybe any other alternative stores where you can actually shop and have a cheaper price but the quality still hasn't been impacted? So the fourth tip I want to give you guys when it comes to saving money on groceries is to limit how many times you actually go to your grocery store or supermarket. Now the reason why I say this is because if you find that you are going to the supermarket maybe every other day or maybe even every day, you are probably going to be overspending, because what you might be doing is you might be going to Tesco one day and getting a few things, and then the next day you're thinking actually you probably want to get a few more things, or maybe you want to get some more snacks or anything, and then you end up going to Lidl instead, and then you end up buying things in Lidl, and then the next day maybe you end up wanting to go to Asda or Walmart just because there's no juice in the house. But then rather than just buying that one item, which is the juice, you end up having about 5 or 6 different items in your basket. And so because you're going to the supermarket more often, you find that you're more likely to just buy different random things that you don't necessarily need just because you went to the shop. So for me personally, I will try to stick to just once a week going to the shops. Now granted, there may be times where maybe I've forgotten something, or maybe we need a key ingredient, and then yes, I will go to another store just for me to buy it. But for me, my main aim would be to just go to the grocery store once a week, so it means that I can avoid trying to overspend if I'm going to the stores every single day. And this is really where the first couple of points come in, because if you've been able to plan your meals and you've been able to make a list, then you're less likely to have to go to different stores during the week, because you've already bought everything that you needed that one time when you actually planned your meals and wrote your list. So the fifth tip I want to give you guys when it comes to saving money on groceries is to know the tricks that the supermarkets tend to pull. Now the reason why I decided to include this point is because I actually do think it's quite important. So for example, in my case, I tend to shop at Lidl or Aldi, and within Lidl they usually have a bakery section. Now where they place that bakery section is right at the front. So as soon as you walk into the store, on your right hand side you can see a whole load of different bread, pastries, donuts, whatever it is, and as soon as you walk in you instantly want to go there and buy it. Now my theory is that they definitely do this on purpose, because they know that as soon as you walk in, if there's a nice bakery smell, you're probably going to want to buy those items. No, I can't even lie, that donut is calling me. So for me, the reason why I actually made this point is for you to actually understand why they are probably doing this. So now every single time I go to Lidl, if I know that I don't want to be spending money at the bakery, which I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I do fall for the trap because the bakery just smells absolutely amazing sometimes. But what I try to do is, if I know that I don't plan on spending money at that bakery, as soon as I walk into the supermarket, guys, sometimes I'm not even going to lie, I will hold my nose and just power walk all the way down to the aisle trying to see what I need to buy, because I know if not, I'm just going to be spending time at the bakery and I'm just going to be buying all these random pastries that I don't even need, that may not even be healthy for me depending on what I'm supposed to be eating during that week. So if there was one big tip I could give you, it would be this one. The next tip I want to give you guys to save money on your groceries is to eat before you go. Now this pretty much links to the last tip where I was talking about the bakery section, but what I found is that if I do not eat before I go and I'm really hungry, by the time I get to the store, I'm either going to be demolishing that bakery section, or I'm going to be buying a lot more food items, because essentially I'm so hungry thinking that I'm probably going to eat all of this stuff, when by the time I get home I don't actually end up eating all of it. So what I will try to do is at least eat something before I go shopping, so that basically stops me from buying any random snacks that I might find on the aisle, because I've already eaten and I'm just not that hungry by the time I get to the store. So the next tip I would give when it comes to saving money on groceries is to actually search up the food costs before you actually go shopping. And again, the reason why I like this is because you can then have a bit of an idea as to how much you're more likely to spend, and so it means you can be a bit more realistic when it comes to your budgeting. So for example, let's say that you're making, I don't know, a spaghetti bolognese. It might be good just to have a bit of an understanding as to maybe how much the spaghetti costs. Are you maybe going to have garlic? How much is the minced meat going to cost? Are you going to be making your own sauce, or are you going to buy the sauce? And just sort of calculate how much it's likely to be, so that you have a good idea in terms of how much it's going to cost you overall when it comes to your food shopping for the week or the month. Now there may be some supermarkets where they don't actually put the price. However, if you're going to certain supermarkets where they do actually have a website presence and they have a lot of their costs there, then that might be quite useful. So for example, when I had a food budget challenge at Asda, I decided to actually look online and see how much things were more likely to cost, so that I could stick to that food budget as closely as I possibly could. Now the next tip I want to give when it comes to actually saving money on groceries is to really do with the food that you're picking. So for example, in my case, I tend to try and buy some frozen foods, as I do find that that could potentially be cheaper and it's more likely to last longer depending on what you're actually buying and the sort of meals that you're having. Now someone did actually comment about using frozen blueberries, because I used to buy fresh blueberries, and now I started buying frozen blueberries and they're an absolute game changer for me, okay? Because this means I have the nicest smoothies ever at a fraction of the cost. But then also another tip tip I would give is when it comes to things like maybe vegetables or fruit, you might find that it's cheaper to buy them loose compared to them already being pre-packaged. I mean, we only have one left because I put the rest in the freezer, but in terms of the cost, loose bananas are definitely the way to go for me. And then the next tip I want to give you guys when it comes to saving money on groceries is to ignore the special offers unless you planned on buying it in the first place. Now for me, this is a huge one because before, what I used to do is if I ever saw things that were like 50% off or 60% off, I would literally just buy it just because they were on offer, not realizing that I probably could have saved money by not buying it because I didn't need it in the first place. So rather than just going to the store and just taking every special offer you can, really think about why you're actually buying that particular item. And again, this is really where you want to go back to your list, and if you've been planning your meals as well, then you'll realize that a lot of the things that are maybe on special offers, you're probably not going to end up eating at all, and if you're not careful, they're going to be left in your cupboard for weeks or months to come. And the reason why you only have it there is because again, they were on special offer and you thought you were getting a good deal, completely forgetting that it's just not necessary at all. It's not on the list, so I'm not buying. So if you did like this video, then please do give me a thumbs up if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments, are there any more tips you would give to save more money on your grocery bill? I do post every Tuesday and Friday, so if you would like to know more, then of course you can subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys on Tuesday.